Awakening. The tombs of the dragons stir. My eyes lift to see ancient dust dancing from high ledges. These grand wings. How long has it been since I was a hero worthy of their name? It feels like centuries have passed, yet all I've done is blink. Look upon my works as they are, ruined. None would dare seek me out. Tread my path. Naught awaits them in this cruel world. King Slime. Given time, these gelatinous creatures absorb each other and slowly grow in both size and strength. There is little need to worry about this. Naturally, slimes are nearly mindless and amass only by chance, though it appears they are capable of absorbing knowledge, if only in rudimentary form. Desert Scourge. Once, it was a majestic sea serpent that threatened none but the microscopic creatures it consumed. After Ilmaris was incinerated, it became familiar with the hunt. To survive, it quickly learned to seek greater prey. Unfortunately for the Scourge, it seems that it too was prey in the end. After all, there is always a bigger fish in the sea. The Eye of Cthulhu. In ages past, heroes made names for themselves facing such monsters. Now they run rampant, spawning from vile influences left unchecked. They blend well with the horrific injustice of their forebears. Slaying one merely paves the way for a dozen more. Surely this does not concern you either. Crabulon. Fungus and a sea crab. One sought a host, the other a new home. These mushrooms possess a disturbing amount of tenacity. Nothing that lays down to die in their domain is left to rest. It is this sort of ghastly, forceful exertion of control over the unwilling that led me down my path. The Brain of Cthulhu. It is true that unspeakable abominations may now be commonplace, largely by my hand, though they have always been a product of the folly of the gods. The same gods would cull them in equal measure. My decimation of the falsely divine left many old horrors unconstrained, with new ones birthed every year. Now they are your stepping stones. The Perforators and their hive. These creatures were unique. They wielded the slain god's power as purely as possible, veins flowing with spilt ichor. All that exists in the crimson is truly the divine turned inside out. Their gore now glistens with perverse treachery for all to bear witness. The mire reeks of centuries of vile manipulation and callous domination of the hapless. Judgment has long passed, and only extinction is left waiting. The Crimson. The foul air, the morbid fauna, the disgusting terrain. Here lies my first mistake of my crusade. The essence of a god does not simply vanish when the body dies. It must be properly disposed of or destroyed entirely. Essence of a pious god could never fester into a mire as dreadful as this. The Eater of Worlds. Any powerful being will call forth fable and legend. of both its grandeur and terror. That monstrous worm was no exception. That measly thing devouring a planet? Ridiculous. However, ridicule spreads quickly with even an ounce of truth behind it. One will not need to search long for examples. We are all surrounded by rampant superstition and assumption. I myself have been subjected to a litany of baseless boasts and accusations in my time. The Hive Mind. Some semblance of a god's mind may survive death, much like the twitches of a crushed insect. What little remains attempts to convene and coalesce in worship. Desperate attempt that its power may yet be restored. How pitiful. Fortunately for us, the futility of this effort is unmatched. The biomass obeys, even though nothing is accomplished. Divine power is known to be rooted in faith. Gods are forged of their own strength, and the mindless spread of corruption is its own foul reverence. The corruption. To not properly dispose of the essence of a slain god is a fatal mistake. This wasteland stands as proof of such. Having slain my first gods, I turned a blind eye as corrupt essence gushed from their rent forms and burrowed into the bowels of Terraria. The mere existence of this putrid place proves that the gods of old were beyond redemption. Skeletron. An unfortunate old man who was caught by an ancient cult, cursing him for trespassing on their ancient library. They were once my friends. The leader is infatuated with dragons, with a dream of even resurrecting one. The very walls of that place are cursed further still. The magic has long since faded as the soldiers rotted within. Do not expect to learn much from those tarnished tomes. They were penned with misguided zeal. Queen Bee. While of tremendous size, these creatures are docile until provoked. Their idyllic demeanor is a rarity nowadays, a thing of beauty even. In the past, entire villages would spring up around these grand hives to peacefully harvest their share of honey, while protecting them from danger. Though its death is understandable given the circumstances, I do feel pity for these majestic beings. Fate was cruel to many of their kind. The Slime God. An old clan once revered this thing as a paragon upholding the balance of nature. Now its purity is sullied by freshly absorbed muck and grime. The gelatinous being neither knows nor cares for the last surviving clansman. Such tragedy is all too common in worship. Alas, the slime god is wise enough to be cowardly, fleeing battles it cannot win when its servants are vanquished. Perhaps fortune will aid you if you catch it unaware. The Underworld. The hellish reputation the Underworld gets is rather a recent development. The layers of ash choking the formerly great cities is still warmed. The more domineering of gods wished for me to champion their causes, asking to rule their society from here. Yet despite being surrounded by magma, Azafir simply burned when their wishes were not met. Such is the unfortunate price of war, though I have no regrets fighting for my people. The Wall of Flesh. To contain the essence of a slain god is no small thing. It is rather a towering, ghastly construct. The wall was lashed together with foul sinew and fouler magics, forming a rudimentary prison of flesh. It served its purpose, halting the diffusion of undue divine influence. Were it not for this alchemical breakthrough, the very world I fought for may have been lost in the carnage I wrought. My methods have since evolved. I need not contain such essences when they can be devoured. May you channel my valor in combating the resulting outpour of energies.